My husband got me drunk on my wedding night just for his entire family to have a test of me. When I woke up, the world felt different. My head pounded. My body was sore in places I couldn't explain. I glanced around, confused. The room was dark, but sunlight was beginning to spill through the curtains. Michael was asleep beside me, his breathing steady. I sat up, my stomach turning. What happened last night? I whispered to myself. My body felt wrong, like something had happened that I couldn't remember. I shook my head, trying to focus, but my thoughts were scattered. I stood up carefully, trying to steady myself, but my legs felt weak. I stumbled into the bathroom, looking at myself in the mirror. My reflection was blurry, my eyes bloodshot. I barely recognized the woman staring back at me. "Clara, what happened to you?" I muttered, trying to calm the storm in my mind. I could hear Michael moving in the bedroom behind me. I hurriedly dressed, hoping to put whatever had happened out of my mind. I returned to the room to find him awake, smiling as though everything was fine. "Good morning, my love," he said softly. "Did you sleep well?" I nodded, though I wasn't sure if I had. Something in his voice didn't sit right with me. There was an edge to it, something too smooth, too perfect. I wanted to ask him what had happened, to demand answers, but I couldn't find the words. His eyes held mine, as though daring me to question him. I swallowed my doubts and forced a smile. "I'm fine," I said, but even as the words left my mouth, I knew I was lying. The days that followed felt like a blur. Michael was more loving than ever, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. His family, too, began to unsettle me. His father, who I had admired at the wedding, now looked at me strangely. His eyes were intense, piercing, as though he could see through me. His siblings acted distant, watching me from the corners of the room, never quite speaking directly to me, but always there, observing. The mansion felt colder with each passing day. I started to notice things that hadn't been apparent before. The way the curtains never seemed to move, even when the wind blew outside. The way the clocks always seemed to be a few minutes behind. Every room felt like it was hiding something dark and ancient. One evening, I decided to confront Michael about everything. "Michael, I can't ignore it anymore," I said, my voice trembling. "Your family, there's something wrong with them. They watch me. They stare at me in ways that make me feel uncomfortable." Michael just smiled, his gaze never leaving mine. "You are imagining things, Clara. My family is just protective. They care about you, that's all." But there was something in his voice, something in the way he said those words that didn't reassure me. It was too perfect, too rehearsed. I knew he was lying. That night, after Michael had gone to bed, I couldn't sleep. The house was eerily quiet, too quiet, and the weight of everything was pressing down on me. I needed answers. I decided to investigate. The mansion had a large study filled with old books and relics, and a room I had never been allowed to enter. It was a small, locked room at the far end of the hallway. The door was made of thick wood, its surface scratched and worn from years of use. I had always been curious about it, but something had always stopped me from entering. Tonight, I couldn't resist. I walked slowly down the hallway, my heart racing as I approached the door. My hand trembled as I reached for the handle. To my surprise, the door opened with ease. I stepped inside, my breath catching in my throat. The room was cold, its walls lined with old furniture and shelves. But what caught my eye was the strange altar in the center of the room, covered with symbols I couldn't understand. Candles were scattered across the floor, their flames flickering weakly. And then I heard it, the sound of footsteps behind me. I turned around to find Michael's father standing in the doorway, his expression unreadable. "You shouldn't be here," he said softly, his voice cold and dark. "This is not a place for you." I backed away, fear gripping me. "What is this place?" I whispered. "What is going on here?" His eyes narrowed. "You've stepped into something you don't understand, Clara. You've become part of something much bigger than yourself." the truth came crashing down all at once. Michael's father slowly revealed the family's dark secret, a truth so twisted and horrifying that I could barely comprehend it. "We are not just a family," he said, his voice low and serious. "We belong to an ancient order, a bloodline that has been cursed for generations. Our family's power comes from a dark pact, one that requires certain rituals." I felt as though the ground had been pulled from beneath me. "What do you mean? What rituals?" "The ritual of marriage," he continued, "is not just a joining of hearts, it is a binding of souls. The woman who marries into this family must first be initiated by the men of the house. It is the way we ensure our power remains strong." Kindly follow this account so as not to miss the next part.